So the three leaders, including the presidential hopeful Dr. Fred Matiangi, Party of National Unity Party leader Peter Munya, and the Democratic Action Party DAP-K Deputy Party leader Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya, explore a possible working arrangement ahead of the 2027 polls. The meeting, which lasted 2 hours at a hotel in Kiambu County Wednesday, is said to have set the ball rolling on the formation of another opposition force to pile pressure on President William Ruto ahead of the 2027 race. Matiangi, who has been seen as a long...
Mimi nitasema hili tu upande wa siasa za kitaifa. Wale watu ambao wamekubaliana kwamba lazima William Ruto aende nyumbani ni wengi sana. Ni wengi sana. Na hakuna mtu ambaye angependa William Ruto aende nyumbani zaidi ya mwingine. Kwa hivyo kile ambacho tunaomba wenzetu ambapo wako kwenye upinzani wasifanye ile wanaita gatekeeping ya hii one term movement. Hakuna mwenye one term movement. Sisi wote hapa, hata Busia ukiuliza hapa kwenye soko watu wanasema one term. Kwa hivyo usiwe ni kana kwamba wewe ndio unajichagua kwamba wewe ndio kiongozi wa one term movement. Wengine wetu kama Sifuna vile mnavyonijua, nilikuwa naimba Ruto must go 2023 nikiwa na sufuria kwa kichwa, na wakati huo hata Rigathi Gachagua bado alikuwa na nani? Alikuwa na...
Ladies and gentlemen, as you have heard in the snippets of the video that we have begun with, this is a great revelation that the cracks within the united opposition continues to widen, as now the united opposition has been split into three groups. The Matiangi group, the Kenya Moja group, and the united opposition led by Rigathi Gachagua. Apart from that, there is also another emerging confusion within the united opposition, as more principles within the said united opposition are set to leave the table from the united opposition. Yesterday, a 2-hour meeting was conducted between three principals. That is the deputy party leader of DAP-K, Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya, the current presidential candidate for Jubilee Party, Fred Matiangi, and the PNU party chairman, Peter Munya. The meeting was conducted in an hotel in Kiambu town, and this meeting lasted for about 2 hours. The meeting gave birth to a new coalition that is said to be unveiled all over the country as a parallel opposition coalition that will actually support the bid of Fred Matiangi as the presidential candidate come the year 2027. This is something that I told you about 1 week ago, that Fred Matiangi, after his return to the country from the United States, immediately after the Jubilee NDC that happened on 26th of September, Matiangi left the following day the country to the United States. 1 week later, last week on Friday, Matiangi touched down in the country, and Matiangi started now mobilizing and having conversation with different party leaders to actually lay out his formula ahead of the 2027 general election. Seeing that the united opposition led by DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua had labeled Matiangi as a project of the state, and they had started tarnishing the name of Fred Matiangi, Matiangi had to find new allies. Knowing that Matiangi's portfolio speaks for itself, Matiangi has now started consolidating bases and parties that actually are in support of his bid. As we speak right now, we are being told that over 8 parties have currently agreed on supporting Fred Matiangi's bid and joining his new parallel coalition that will be actually the coalition that will give the united opposition coalition a run for its money ahead of the 2027 general election. Now, this coalition will be led by Fred Matiangi, and this coalition is ready to table Fred Matiangi as its preferred presidential candidate. Now, news have it that this coalition will have George Natembeya as its running mate and Fred Matiangi as its presidential candidate. Remember, Mnatembea and his party leader Eugene Wamalwa, they are currently in a scuffle. But now seems that Eugene Wamalwa is also at crossroads with the DCP party leader and the United Opposition Coalition on matters the current by-election in Malava. Now this has proved to one DAPK party leader Eugene Wamalwa that actually DCP, I mean the United Opposition is not going to respect the agreements that they have. So if they are not ready to respect the agreement on by-election, how are they going to respect agreements in informing the government of the year 2027? So it's high time the DAPK party exits the United Opposition and finds a formidable coalition that they will align themselves with. And which means that now Eugene Wamalwa will have to join Fred Matiangi on this other side. Now, this gives Matiangi a new strength. Allow me to remind you that Matiangi in the Mount Kenya region has the Jubilee Party, he has the PNU Party, he has the BAS Party, which is Kiraito Morongi's party. Now, with the current formation, Matiangi actually proves to be more stronger with his coalition more than the United Opposition, because it seems as days go by, the only two people that will be left in the United Opposition is Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka and maybe Martha Karua, because everybody else seems not to be satisfied with how Rigathi Gachagua is running his businesses within the United Opposition. Remember, before even tagging Matiangi as a project of the state, they began first with labeling Gathoni wa Mushomba, Edwin Sifuna, Babu Owino, and those that were affiliating themselves with the new coalition called the Kenya Moja Alliance as the project of the state, as a project that has been formed by President William Ruto to ruin the chances of the United Opposition ahead of the 2027 general election. But the Kenya Moja coalition has said that if need be, they will also organize themselves to field a presidential candidate where they are fronting one Edwin Sifuna as the possible candidate for the for the Kenya Moja coalition. Now, this means that actually by the year 2027, the United Opposition will have divided into three groups: the Matiangi coalition, the Kenya Moja coalition, and the United Opposition. Now, how will these people even have a chance against William Ruto? Yet William Ruto seems to be buying people day in, day out. As we have seen today, William Ruto has already brought into the table the KANU chairman, Gideon Moi, and made Gideon Moi to forgo his ambitions for running in the Baringo by-election, in the Baringo senatorial by-election. Now, this tells you clearly that William Ruto is consolidating his bases secretly. Are we together? And he is meant to unveil new parties that will actually ruin the chances of the United Opposition and even these other coalitions that are being formed ahead of the 2027 general election. How is he going to do that? Remember, about 2 or 4 days ago, William Ruto went ahead to appoint a new registrar of political parties. Now, which means now the offices of the registrar of political parties are now open, which gives room for new parties to be formed, for new coalitions to be formed, for new political outfits to be born. And this is not for the purpose of the general good. This is for the purpose of ruining any chances of a formidable coalition that will actually have a chance at beating William Ruto in the year 2027. It's high time that you see that the things that Rigathi Gachagua has been doing. You know, Gachagua has been bulldozing everybody around in the United Opposition, which has led to people forming their side coalition. Now, this side coalition might actually be the ultimate fall of the United Opposition, and Gachagua will be left with Kalonzo Musyoka. Now, let me ask you, if it's Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka, how will they win this upcoming general election if they don't have the support of other communities. Remember, Eugene Wamalwa, if he leaves and George Natembeya leaves, they have lost the Mulembe Nation voting bloc, which is the second largest voting bloc in the Republic of Kenya. If Matiangi leaves, he has gone with part of Mount Kenya and with about half of the Luo Nyanza region votes. That includes Nyamira and Kisii and some parts of the Luo Nyanza region. Ladies and gentlemen, politics is a dirty game. And William Ruto seems to be outplaying those people that think they actually have it in order, or they have actually cracked the code of beating William Ruto. Maybe William Ruto has all along been playing the game to try and make them believe that they actually have a chance against him. But at the end of the day, he has the final say. For now, I would love to know your take for this formation of new outfits in the opposition. The Matiangi opposition that is currently being formed between him, George Natembeya, Peter Munya, Keraito Moronge, and other opposition chiefs. The division between Rigathi Gachagua and Eugene Wamalwa. Now, and also the Kenya Moja Alliance. What is your take? Does the united opposition has a chance against William Ruto come the year 2027? Leave a comment on the comment section. See you in our next video. This is the Kenyan Daily Report.